I have a secret to share with you today. And that secret is something that those fancy pants designers are holding back. It is a secret that they don't want you to know because then you wouldn't need them. But here's the thing about the fancy pants designers. You are paying them, or they are being paid, I should say, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to take all of the guesswork out of decision making, of decision fatigue, of that analysis paralysis that keeps you stuck. And maybe it's worth it if it removes all of the barriers that have been keeping you stuck. But the thing that they're not telling you, the thing that they are making look so incredibly easy, is the thing that we talked about last week, the finishing, the checking to make sure that there are parameters in place to know if the room is quite right. And if you missed that one, I want you to go back because there are 6 things that you need to think about when you're trying to finish the room. And you're thinking, do I add more or do I not? Go back and listen to last week's episode if you missed it. But here's the thing about finishing. You can't finish well if you don't know where to start. You can't finish well if you don't know what to do and what to focus on in the beginning. And that is the secret that those designers are not telling you. They're not letting you in on. They're gathering all kinds of great information, the information that makes their decision making easy. And of course, they have experience working with clients and going to school and all the things in order to make those decisions a little easier and quicker than you do. But you can make those decisions too. And you can make those decisions now, and you likely are, but you're making them a little on shaky legs. You know, like the baby deer, shaky legs, that kind of leg. You're making your decisions on those kinds of legs, and theirs are a little bit steadier because they know exactly what to look for. They know what to hone in on. And when you know what to look for and when you know what to hone in on, your decisions become easier, the overwhelm becomes lighter, the confidence grows bigger, and you are able to make more confident, easier decisions in your home decorating. And then you don't need us. You really don't. I remember working with Heather, one of my clients, years ago. I don't even know how many years ago, 10 maybe now. And Heather was my first client who really gave me that aha moment of, hold on a second, design is teachable. And she wasn't hiring me to teach her. She was learning as she went, and I just recognized that she was learning. She hired me to come in and do it for her. And I did. I hung the wallpaper. I made the decisions. I made the mood boards. I bought the things. I gave her choices of the things to buy. But Heather had really great taste. She has really great taste. And as I kind of helped guide her through the process, I would just tell her what it was I was doing. And she started to pick up on it. And she started to make more confident decisions in the next room. And I remember telling Mr. Fig and Farm about this. I remember telling him, oh my gosh, Heather, like she's totally getting it. And he looked at me all serious and he said, that's not a good thing, right? Like, don't you want them to hire you? And I said, no. Now, don't get me wrong. If you wanted to hire me to do it all for you, I would absolutely do it. But it was empowering to watch Heather as I was decorating her space and just chatting with her about it. How she was picking up on the process and how she was becoming more confident in the decisions she was making and the placements she was doing and the items she was then picking out on her own. Makes me so incredibly happy when I see the aha moments. When I hear the Heathers and the Susans and the Lorraines say things like, oh my gosh, I'm totally getting that. Or now that I'm thinking about it this way, or I didn't think about it like that before, or I did think about it like that before, but now I don't. Those are aha moments in the making. And that happens when you know where to start. And the thing that I see most often, the thing that I see time and time and time again, is that we totally skip that part. We get the itch, we have the inspiration, and then we go. But even before we gather the inspiration, we've already skipped like 5 steps. We've already skipped the important part. And that important part, friend, is the part I'm teaching you in a free 2-day workshop that I'm hosting in March 11th and 12th. I'm hosting a free workshop, 3 steps to creating a home that you can't stop gushing about. Now, if you've been around a while, you've heard that title before, but inside of that training, there is new information. There's a new approach to teaching. There's a whole heck of a lot of new examples, and there's going to be a lot of aha moments. And those aha moments are the moments I want you to have so that you know where to start, so that you don't jump right to picking the paint color. You don't jump right to picking the couch. You don't jump right to getting the pillows and the curtains, because chances are if you do that, you're going to be back here another year from now thinking something is wrong with my room. And you're probably right. Something likely is wrong with your room. So friend, join me March 11th and 12th for a free live workshop where I'm going to be teaching you 3 steps, the most important steps to creating a home that you can't stop gushing about, one that you delight in and one that you can't wait to come home to at the end of the day. All right, you can register for that by going to my show notes and grabbing the link, or going directly to figandfarmathome.com and clicking on the link at the top of the homepage. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is, but our culture has shifted and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style, where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. Now, going back to that secret, the secret of knowing where to start. That secret is the thing that is going to take you through to the very end, to knowing when your room is finished, to knowing when your room might not need anything else, or maybe it needs 5 more things. But part of knowing where to start means knowing that you need to really assess the room, assess the situation, and to create a plan and a structure and a framework that is going to support the end vision. We all have the end vision. That is the Pinterest boards. Those are the YouTube videos. Those are the TV shows we watch, the magazines we read. That is the end goal. We have no shortage of that. But there's a lot of wiggle room between knowing where to start and what to do first and knowing what to do at the very end. And I want you to liken this to really anything that you might do. A meal you might prepare that you don't know how to make yet, and you use a structure called a recipe. Maybe it is a kit that you buy from IKEA and you don't know how to put it together, but you've got the Allen wrench. And now you go to the instructions. It is the plan and the structure and the framework that gets you from that really cute product you saw in the aisles of IKEA and the box that you brought it home in. It connects the dots from the vision to the very beginning. Is the framework. It's the structure. And inside of that structure is the sequence. I know that when I give my boys Legos, which they still love even at 15 and 17, and almost 50. I mean, who are we kidding? Mr. Fig and Farm loves Legos too. When we get a Lego set, I know that we have the vision for the end. I know that the very first thing we're going to do is open the box. And I know that we can't necessarily put the walls on the house if we haven't built the foundation, or we can't put the mast on the ship if we don't have the rod to hold it. There's a word for that. I don't know what it is. You get the idea, right? There are steps that go, and in an order in which they go in order to build upon the other to make the end product. And that is the sequence that is so incredibly important in home decorating. And in that free class that I'm going to be teaching in a couple weeks, I'm going to be teaching you the very first step of that so that you can then build upon the other. Because what will happen if we turn off this show, if you go and watch that next YouTube video, if you go and look at that Pinterest board because the inspiration has struck, these are the things that I want to caution you against, because the inspiration has struck big time. And action, you're ready for action. But the action that you take are the things that are going to get you stuck and keep you stuck, looking at that room and thinking something isn't quite right. I need to fix it and I don't know how. And that same cycle over and over and over, year after year after year. The first thing is not editing what you already have. Not making space and negative space and breathing room for change to happen. The second thing is looking at your room and thinking it needs to stay like this because it's the way that it always has been. Like the way that the furniture layout has been, maybe the colors on the walls, maybe the window treatments, maybe even the way that you're using the room in a larger sense, what the room is being used for, even though maybe your family has shifted, they've grown, they've maybe moved out, and you no longer need some of the things that you had in the younger years. The third thing that is happening is that we are getting our credit card out way too soon. We are buying as we go, and we're kind of falling into that trap of adding as we go, hitting when inspiration strikes. I've got the whim, I've got the time, I've got a little extra in my budget, I'm going to go and make a change. And when that happens, when we shop before we decide on what the plan is, we make all kinds of mistakes, and that spirals into a whole different thing. Sometimes it spirals into mistakes made, money being misspent, fear of making another mistake in the future, frustration because you can't quite get it right. Frustration and overwhelm because you took so much time choosing the thing that you thought was really cute, and then you got home and realized, oh shoot, why did it look cute in the store and it's not quite right here? But here's what I want to tell all of you. When we start looking at decorating our home, like we are following a recipe, like we are following the directions to a Lego set, it becomes easier. The concept becomes a little bit more manageable. And that's what I want you to think about between now and the workshop when you come and join me on March 11th. I want you to think about what your end goal is and realize and recognizing it is just that. It is your end goal. All of those sources of inspiration, we can get there. Those are your inspiration. Those are the thing that you want, the cherry on top, the end goal, the end point, the final destination. We're going to get there. But recognizing where you are on the pathway from the beginning to that, and recognizing that there are multiple steps along the way. Now, what I want you to know too is that the process between starting and finishing isn't really overwhelming. When we can first separate those two distances and recognize that they are two separate things, that inspiration does not equal action, when we can separate those enough, we can start plugging in what those steps are. And though they might be multiple steps, they might be sequential steps, they build upon the other, and decision and clarity and overwhelm all become either heightened or lessened, depending on which one we're talking about. Clarity becomes heightened, confidence becomes heightened, overwhelm becomes lessened, frustration becomes lessened, and it all happens with that first step. It all happens when you start to understand what it is that you should be concentrating on first. So friend, if you're going to be joining me for that workshop, I want you to commit to two things for me. The first one is to put your credit card away. put your credit card away. Even the training I'm going to be giving is completely free. And then I want you to do something a little bit different. Instead of pinning pictures, watching YouTube videos, looking at Instagram at all the pretty pictures, I want you to put a pause on that for 3 weeks. You got it. You can do it. Put a pause on that because you already have that in spades. We don't need any more. We don't need to gather. We don't need to collect. Put it away and let your brain rest for just a teeny tiny bit. And instead, what I want you to think about and what I want you to do is I want you to get out a piece of paper, maybe put it on your phone, your app on your phone where you're doing the voice notes. Maybe you're typing it on your phone. Maybe you're writing it down old-fashioned. Maybe you're typing it out. Whatever you're doing, write it down, get it out of your mind and onto something. And I want you to think about and write down what you hope that your room could look and feel like and function like in a year's time. I want you to give yourself a little bit of liberty to dream here. I want you to think about what it might feel like to come home at the end of the day, and when you open the door, you love what you see. What might that look like? What might be greeting you on the other end of that, the other side of that? What are some of those things that are keeping you from doing that now? And be really honest about that. What are the things that are getting in the way of finishing the room the way that you've wanted to finish it for who knows how many years now? I want you to write those things down too. And then I want you to go back to that paper, to that voice note app, and I want you to think about what it might feel like after we've reached the end goal, after we've gone from point A to point Z. We've done all of the things in sequence. We've practiced restraint when we've needed to. We've made confident decisions, and the room is finished. And I want you to think about what happens when your best friend comes over, your family comes over, you're hosting that holiday gathering, that party, the book club, the wine. Who are we kidding? Sometimes we don't talk about books at book clubs. Sometimes we just drink wine. What's happening? What's happening when your friends or your family come in and they see your space? What are they saying? What are you feeling when they say that? And are you, I hope, taking full credit for, I did that. I did that, and I'm proud of doing it. All right, friend, you have an assignment between now and March 11th and 12th. I want you to first go and register for that workshop. If you're not able to make it live, that's totally fine. I send replays, and I keep those up for a week or so you can watch them on your own time. But there's a great experience happening when you can come live. There's interaction that happens, the aha moments are palpable, and you can get your questions answered. Not to mention, I really love to give away little gifts for those who attend. Sometimes I've given away gift cards to HomeGoods or Amazon. I've given away free coaching. I've given away room edits. It's pretty fun. When you come live, there is, I like to recognize that because I know you're spending some time with me out of your very busy day. Okay, friend, that is enough for today. I do want you to come and register for that workshop, 3 steps to creating a home. You can't stop gushing about it. You can register by going to either my show notes and clicking on the link there, or going to figandfarmathome.com and clicking on the ribbon at the top of the homepage. And I can't wait to see you inside. Until next week, I'll see you soon. Oh, and put away your credit card. Bye for now. Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.